Welcome to the show. I'm Danella. Here's what's happening right now. A lot to get in this show. All right, let's just start it off. How about let's get hot? First of all, if you follow me on Facebook, check this video out. Did you guys see this video? It's a group for Kiss cover band, right? So look, this guy's rocking out. All right, rock it out. Then something goes terribly wrong. Yes, a fire starts on his head. It's so crazy. You know, this guy, he just keeps singing. Literally, his hair is on fire, but he just keeps on singing. And when I first saw this video, I was thinking to myself, what substance enables you to be on fire and not feel it? That was my first thought. But then I said, maybe he was like rocking so hard. He was like, nothing's gonna stop this performance, nothing. And I think we need more of that kind of attitude here in America. Well, wait, no. The attitude of nothing's gonna stop me, like in the sense of like, oh, nothing's gonna stop my hustle. Not like I'll be on fire and I'm gonna keep working. Did I mention this was a cover band? It's like, right, a cover band. So you're singing somebody else's songs, and that guy never stops. I can't believe it. Total wig on fire. Didn't miss a note. Also on fire this week, I got to shout out my homegirl, AOC. You know who I'm talking about. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's a freshman, but she's got a lot of spunk. And a lot of people don't really understand. They think, what's wrong with the government today? I don't understand how power works. Trump, did he get in the office legally? Can we trust him? His base is pro-Trump and they support him all the way. And all of us have this feeling, right, that something is wrong in the government. Something is broken and it needs to be fixed. And sometimes you can't put your finger exactly on what it is. AOC!
Let's play a lightning round game. I'm gonna be the bad guy, which I'm sure half the room would agree with anyway. And I want to get away with as much bad things as possible, ideally to enrich myself and advance my interest, even if that means putting my interests ahead of the American people. So, if I want to run a campaign that is entirely funded by corporate political action committees, is there anything that legally prevents me from doing that?
No.
So let's say I'm a really, really bad guy, and let's say I have some skeletons in my closet that I need to cover up so that I can get elected. Mr. Smith, is it true that you wrote this article, this opinion piece for the Washington Post entitled, "These payments to women were unseemly, that doesn't mean they were illegal"?
Well, I can't see the piece, but I wrote a piece under that headline in the Post, so I assume that's right.
Okay, great. So, green light for hush money. I can do all sorts of terrible things. It's totally legal right now for me to pay people off. So, I use my special interest dark money funded campaign to pay off folks that I need to pay off and get elected. So, now I'm elected, now I'm in. I've got the power to draft, lobby, and shape the laws that govern the United States of America. Are there any limits on the laws that I can write or influence?
There's no limit.
So there's none. So I can be totally funded by oil and gas. I can be totally funded by Big Pharma, come in, write Big Pharma laws, and there's no limits to that whatsoever.
That's right.
The last thing I want to do is get rich with as little work possible. That's really what I'm trying to do as the bad guy, right? So is there anything preventing me from holding stocks, say, in an oil or gas company, and then writing laws to deregulate that industry and cause, that could potentially cause the stock value to soar and accrue a lot of money in that time?
You could do that.
So I could do that. I could do that now with the way our current laws are set up. Yes?
Yes.
Okay, great. Is it possible that any elements of this story apply to our current government and our current public servants right now?
Yes.
Yes.
So we have a system that is fundamentally broken. We have these influences existing in this body. which means that these influences are here in this committee shaping the questions that are being asked of you all right now. Would you say that that's correct,
Yes.
Mr. Marabani or Mr. Schaub?
Yes. In terms of laws that apply to the president, yeah, there's just almost no laws at all that apply to the president.
So I'm being held, and every person in this body is being held to a higher ethical standard than the President of the United States.
That's right, because there are some ethics committee rules that apply to you.
And it's already super legal, as we've seen, for me to be a pretty bad guy. So it's even easier for the President of the United States to be one, I would assume.
That's right.
Thank you very
Couldn't
much.
you said it better myself? These are great questions to lead us to the truth. I think that's a perfect segue for Political Pop. Here is your Political Pop, a story I've been following for a while. If you follow my podcast, you know I'm always talking about when the robots take over. Well, this week, Trump signed an executive order laying out our nation's plan to increase artificial intelligence technology. And I was happy to see that the bill addresses job displacement by helping Americans with job training. And that's my biggest thing that I always talk about on my podcast is, helping Americans train for when an AI does possibly the current job you're doing now. And it's good to see that the government is acknowledging their push to AI technology, but also acknowledging that Americans are going to need help in preparation for job displacement. I'm DanellaNOW, and that was your Political Pop. And now it's time for In Our World. In Our World this week, a new study says that the bugs are dying. It's terrible news for the bugs, but worse news for us. Humans, yes, a new study published in the Journal of Biological Conservation says insect populations are declining so fast worldwide that 40% of species could be extinct within decades. They say the biggest culprit is pesticides, but also what's at play? Climate change and deforestation. So if you think about it, the insects, they don't have, their normal place to live. And we don't really realize how we're all humans, insects, animals, plants, nature, all of us are part of an ecosystem in which we need each other to live. It's tough. I think about it even in myself, like an ant. The last thing you want to see in your home, right, is an ant. You're like, oh no, an ant infestation. And I read about this, and they say what you have to do is to try not to kill the entire colony. And a lot of these things that we treat our home with to keep ants out poisons, let's say the little, scouter ant that comes to your house saying, is there any food here? Then that ant takes it back to their colony and kills the entire colony. And it's tough. It's very tough. So the idea is, how can we get healthier, more eco-friendly pesticides? Another thing is, if you think about a poisoned insect, then other insects and other creatures eat that poison. That's a problem. Even when you're thinking about in your yard and even in your home, we have to be aware that insects are on a decline. And it's crazy. I think we are the smallest, alive source. So if you think, when I'm saying a live source, I'm thinking, birds, insects, animals, right? Like we're a mammal, but we're humans, right? We are like one of the smallest represented in everything. I think animals are probably at about 70% of life form, but we're the most deadly. We are the most deadly, and we cannot continue to be this way. And that's In Our World. So the other news this week is designers' blackface. It's ridiculous. So you saw Gucci last week had the turtleneck with the red lips, right? So they had to pull their racist sweater. And then Katy Perry, she has some shoes. She had to pull those shoes off her website because what? Blackface again. And so one of the questions that I'm hearing in our social circle is, okay, Does that mean if you have Gucci, are you not wearing it anymore? If you got those Gucci shoes, are you no longer wearing that? You got a Gucci watch, those shades, not wearing it? Do we think about it? Even Prada, remember Prada had the handbags with the little accessory monkey black face? It's ridiculous. Ridiculous. And so, some people are saying, oh, this is art, it's not blackface. But seriously, when you know that this is what it is, what do you do? So in social circles, that's the question. Are you no longer wearing the fragrance? So we talked about this also on Adverse Reaction. And one of the callers said this, and his passion. I was like, yes, rocket passion. He was like, why are you going to spend your money on, give your money to somebody who does not support you and your race? And I thought about that. And I said, that's a very good point. Because when you know what it is, right, you know better, you should do better. So I'm just curious, because you see rapper T.I. came out and he said that people should stop wearing Gucci. Then he said, don't wear Gucci for 3 months. Really, T.I.? Is that what you said? Floyd Mayweather, the boxer, he was like, I'm wearing my Gucci. I'm going to keep buying. I don't follow the masses. I do my own thing. But it's kind of like, that's definitely racist. And even if it's not, even if you want to say that somehow it went through all these hands and is not racist, let's just say it went through all these hands and nobody saw that it was racist. There's no diversity in the chain of command. There's no diversity for somebody to stand up and say, hey, just want to be clear that is offensive to people who look like me or to friends of mine. Even if there's not even diversity enough, if we just say, best case scenario, no one noticed. There's still not diversity enough where one person was like, I have a friend who that would be offensive to. So I'm curious. I always love to ask questions and I love to get your feedback. Are you willing to not invest in designers who are racist to you, who don't support you? Where are we putting our money? And I think this question comes up so often because a lot of the things that it's like crazy to me, because even when we were talking about it, people act like it's like a hard challenge. It's a hard choice. And I'm like, how is it a hard choice? You're spending money. That's not a hard choice. What's hard is your comfort. Your comfort is what? It's really an easy choice. It is really easy. Don't spend thousands of dollars on somebody who put out racist products or not. That seems like an easy choice. But what makes it difficult is what our comfort zones. That's what makes it difficult. And I think that now with social media, now with this information age where we can get information immediately, even in the situation with Virginia. Come on, guys. WTV. That's what I keep saying. What in the Virginia is happening in Virginia? But still you see there, because of social media, something that could be done decades ago. Not only can we see it now, but all of us can see it immediately. So I definitely think more of this is going to come out in the future, and we'll be faced with the tough choice of who are we going to continue to support? And like I have said on this show before, money is power. So who do you give your power to? Who? Now, before we wrap up the show, I have to tell you about this pet peeve of mine. Like this, when I say pet peeve, I mean pet peeve. I cannot take it when parents let their sick kids kick it with kids that aren't sick. And I know people are going to say, oh, maybe that's because you only have a 3-year-old. You a newbie parent. No. There's other parents that feel this way. Maybe they're just my friends, but I cannot take it. It's like also coworkers. When you're real sick and you know you're contagious and you still coming to work, especially cubicles. If you have a cubicle job or you're in the service industry and you guys are right next to each other and you are infected with your germs and you come and bring that to work and make everyone at work sick, especially with those stomach viruses, stop it. We got to do better. Maybe your child can skip the birthday party today. Maybe. Maybe your child should stay home from school. Maybe just one day. Maybe 3 until the child is no longer contagious. Because and I say this because I got sick from my son who got sick from another child. And I was like, oh, it makes me so frustrated because parents will say like, oh, my child's not contagious. And I'm like, anytime the mucus is green, brown, yellow, that's infection. That's some type of sick. Allergies is usually clear or they're fighting it. That's usually clear. And then this is another thing. And I remember my son's godmother would say this all the time. And she had her child before I had KJ. She used to say this and I understood it, but now I like feel her passion because she used to say like, oh my gosh, I can't take it, and she would say, oh, if her daughter has a play date, she's like, cancel the play date. Just, our feelings aren't hurt. I'd rather not have a sick child than you keep the play date. And she says that, for example, the parents would say, oh, she only has a fever, so I gave her Tylenol and now we're out. And it's like, oh my gosh, that's the first warning sign. Your body's saying something's wrong. Let me warm up to kill it. So yes, that's part A of my rant. I'm sorry. You know how it is on this show. We go back and forth and tell the truth. You guys normally go back and forth by emailing and DMing. I normally respond to you here. Or if you're secretive, I'll write you back. But yes, it's so frustrating. And the last part of this is, again, I've said it on this show. I'm going to say it again. What germ lives in babies? Literally, whatever that germ is in a baby, don't ever catch it. Because when an adult catch a baby germ, you feel like you about to die. About to die. Kid running, playing like nothing happened. Just running, chase me. I'm like, I can't breathe. So yeah, happy to be back at it. Donations. Yes. Thank you so much to those of you that have donated. If you would like to donate to the show, you can. I will include a link in the bottom of this video in the description. And a huge thank you to those of you that are listening on SoundCloud, as well as those of you that are watching on Facebook. I know YouTubers is our normal space, but we gotta also welcome the other people that are watching and listening from other avenues. Thanks for joining me here. Remember, this is a totally interactive show. Email. That's one way we can stay connected. Danella@DanellaNOW.com. Also, on all social media platforms at DanellaNOW. As always, I hope you have an incredible weekend, and I will see you next week.